Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills, because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth back at you again with a new report. I hope you all are doing well. Family, there's some new changes that just came into play. A new law that just took effect that you need to know about. That's going to affect you and your family, really everybody in the country. And some of the effects of this new law is not going to be good, family. I love to do more videos on good topics and good news, but some things are about to get worse. The new law and issue that I am referring to is this, family. California Prop 22 gig worker law and its bad effects. Yeah, family. Yeah, this is happening right now. What you see on your screen, this trucker slowdown, if you will, on the highways, is blocking highways, literally just began to occur approximately an hour and a half ago. Okay, so this is hot off the press. This is fresh information for you, family. So we're going to chop it up about this one here. I got a couple of videos I'm going to share with you that's going to, provide some background information. And then after these videos, we're going to chop it up and kind of go into even more details, because there's always a lot that the mainstream media is not telling you. Okay. So again, here we're going to check out a couple of videos real quick to get you up to speed, and then we're going to break this thing down. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's get it together here. All right, we got our first video coming at you right now.
Well, a convoy of truckers are taking a stand against a state law by bringing traffic to a crawl. Sky 9 was over the 710 freeway and Del Amo just about 30 minutes ago, which is where part of the convoy of truckers were attempting to slow down traffic. Earlier, Sky 9 was over Carson, where the convoy of truckers caused heavy delays. At one point, they were headed north from the Port of Long Beach on the 110 freeway. The truckers are protesting legislation regarding the classification of independent contractors as gig workers. The law was passed in 2019, but the truckers scored a temporary injunction that remained in place until just a few weeks ago. That's when the Supreme Court said they were refusing to hear the truckers' challenge to the new law. The law affects owner-operators only and would strip them of health benefits provided by the corporations they haul for.
Yeah, family. So that's live, pretty much. That's a live report today. July 14th, 2022. Going down in California. And the impact or the ripples from this are going to be nationwide. So we're gonna see how this is going to unfold. Some of the things we can already predict. Others we'll discover as we go forward. But I got one more video that I want to share with you guys to bring you fully up to speed or more up to speed on this, and then we're going to chop this up And we're going to share that video with you right now.
The U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear a challenge to the state's gig worker bill, throwing a wrench in the trucking industry that increasingly relies on independent truckers. AB5, known as the gig worker bill, was passed back in 2019. The state law reclassifies independent contractors as employees, but until now, a lawsuit prevented any impact on the trucking industry.
So that suit claimed that the law would devastate the industry. John Ramos talked to independent truckers and business owners who say the impact could be disastrous.
AB5 was intended to give transport workers more workplace protections, but for truckers who own and operate their own rigs, it may be the end of the road, and that's going to affect all of us. On Thursday, the U.S. Supreme Court made news again, this time by refusing to hear a challenge by California truckers to the new law that requires truck drivers to be employees of the trucking companies they do business with.
This ruling really took everybody off guard, especially the way they, at the speed that they kicked this back, essentially made it law.
The problem is nearly all of the state's goods are transported by truck, many of which are owned and operated by individual drivers. That's especially the case at the Port of Oakland.
There's 9,000 trucks that serve the port on a daily basis, and 90% of them are independent contractors. So this is a big, big impact.
Bill Abudi owns AB Trucking in Oakland. He employs his own drivers, but also uses independent contractors to handle overflow business, which just became illegal. Abudi says he won't be able to use trucks owned by the drivers anymore.
It just doesn't work. You own your own truck, it's your truck. I can't take possession of it and start using it. In a case like my company, we just eliminate owner-operators and just reduce the workload.
That's a disaster for Hedayatollah Abrahimi, who just bought his own truck a month ago. He, like other owner-operators, spent tens of thousands of dollars to not be someone's employee. Do you feel a sense of pride in owning your own truck?
Oh yeah, why not? Yeah. That's my own truck, working for myself.
Now his truck will be useless unless he wants to become his own trucking company, booking his own loads and dealing with the port bureaucracy. Are those all the things that the trucking company does for you now?
Yes, please, yeah. Yeah, they arrange everything, and they talk to the big companies, to the port, everything, and they take all the loads for us.
So you don't have to do any of the paperwork yourself?
No, not the paperwork.
His dream of being a truck driver just got a lot more complicated. But industry experts predict many won't stay in California, which will only make the supply chain problems worse and the cost of everything in the state even more expensive.
It's going to adversely affect everybody, and with inflation being as high as it is, this is going to put inflationary pressure on consumer.
In Oakland, John Ramos, KPIX5.
No one seems to know how the new law will be enforced or who will enforce it, but legally, it is supposed to go into effect in just a few days.
Today. We're going to get into more information here, dig deeper into this issue. But before we do, family, remember to smash the likes, share on all your social media, and be sure to subscribe to One Brothas Mind, where we bring you the information and facts you need. Okay, family? So let's look into this issue a bit more. Y'all got the reports on the mainstream media, but there's parts of this that they really didn't, and most always don't tell you. Okay, so let's explore this. First off, you heard that the information there about how the Supreme Court, these fools, these devils, refused to even hear the independent drivers or truck drivers case. They just said, no, we're not hearing this. We're not going to rule on it. No. Right? So that's what, them doing that, that's what put this California Prop 22 gig law into effect. Basically today, yesterday, whatever it is. And so now it's illegal, as you heard, for independent truck drivers like that guy that just bought his truck a month ago. it's illegal for them to drive loads unless they agree to become employees of, like the other guys. He has his own truck driving company. They have to not only agree to become employees of a truck driving company, but now they, in a sense, have to sell their trucks to whatever truck driving company that they're becoming employees of, if they choose to do that. They don't want to do that. They just bought their trucks. They own their trucks, right? So the other option is they basically have to go ahead and do far more paperwork, take on far more responsibilities, and basically become their own truck driving business, an official business, not just an independent contractor. Like they share with you in the video, they have to do all the paperwork and business communication from business to business and the agreements and everything themselves. Whereas previously you had truck driver or trucking companies that did all of that work, and then they would just contract independent drivers. Okay? Now all of the independent drivers have to do all of the work for themselves in California, which makes a dramatic difference. All right? A third option is, again, what they share with you in the report, that a lot of drivers are just going to, a lot of truck drivers, independent drivers, are just going to leave California. So what kind of effect do y'all think that's going to have on the supply chain, not only in California in prices and inflation, but for the entire U.S.? California is one of the United States' major supply ports, where a significant percentage of all the supplies, whatever it is you think about, groceries, things you buy online, whatever, California is one of the major ports for all of that product to come into the United States. And now they have this law, and if many or a significant portion of the independent truck drivers just leave California because they can no longer work as independent contractors, if they leave, California already doesn't have enough truck drivers to deliver the supplies and run the loads. But now that's gonna get hella worse. Okay? Because many of them, they're not gonna go for this. They're just gonna leave California and go to other states. And so then you're gonna have this bottleneck, which we already have, but it's just gonna be 10 times worse probably, where our supplies that are coming into California are just gonna be sitting in California because there's already not enough drivers to bring the supplies out, but now that's going to get worse. So your grocery store shelves are going to get more empty. Your products, the things that you order or trying to buy all throughout the country, are going to get more scarce. At least until this kind of pans out some kind of way. But for the immediate future, the next few months, this is going to be bad, y'all, as far as the impact of it there in California. Now, in addition to that, as you also know, most of the time when new laws come into effect, like in California and maybe a couple other large states, that's also a legal ripple effect, to where that law, other states will start to try to pass and enact that same law in other states across the country. It's literally could spread and probably will across the country. So is your wheels burning? Are you thinking about the effects of this? They just, if this law, break dances all across the country, or in most states across the country, do you see how the supply chain that's already jacked up is about to get worse? Do y'all see this? Because they won't allow the independent contractor truck drivers to continue to operate and own their own business, work when they want to work. They're forcing. Well, let's get into it. Let's look at this. Let me say it this way. This law is primarily designed, this Prop 22 law is primarily designed to protect people who are working from the negative effects of being an independent contractor. And you're saying, well, what are the negative effects, Katie Smooth? I got you. Most independent contractors, if they are on the lower income scale of being an independent contractor, workers like drivers for Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and all kind of other stuff like that, where they're barely making any money at all. Those workers are actually being severely taken advantage of. Okay? In contrast, workers that are on the higher end or higher scale of income as an independent contractor, they're making out like fat rats in a cheese factory. They getting over. They're beating the system. They love it. That's why they love it. They're making, basically what they're making is unlimited. It's just based on how much work they want to do and how many loads they want to, in this case with truck drivers, how many loads they want to take. That's the only limitation to how much money they're making. It's real easy. That's why a lot of them have been doing it for all these years, right? So this law hurts independent contractors on the higher earning or higher income scale in the country, and it helps independent contractors and workers on the lower end of the income scale. Okay, which in fact is actually how I believe the law should have been implemented, how it should read. It should have a set income minimum, a set income minimum that if you're an independent contractor and you make less than this income, now that income can be relative per the state's income across the country, but you make less than a certain percentage of income or income rate, then the law applies to you and you cannot be an independent contractor because you're being taken advantage of. But if you make more than this amount or percentage of income in this state, you can continue to be an independent contractor. That's how it should have been. But y'all know how they do. They like trying to take something, making it one size fits all, and it helps some and it hurts some. Okay? So, again, how it helps people and businesses on the higher earning and income scale for independent contractors is because the business that's doing the hiring of the independent contractor, whether it's truck drivers, this may even affect travel nurses. There's a lot of industries that this may affect. But the business that hires the independent contractor, attorneys, whatever, you name it, that business does not have to pay employee costs for healthcare, taxes, insurance coverage, all these other things that every business that has employees are required to pay. Okay? So by not having to pay those costs and being able to hire independent contractors, the business saves money. And then in addition, the business shares some of that cost savings with the actual independent contractors. In this case, it's the truck drivers. So the truck drivers get higher pay as independent contractors than they do as employees. Okay? In addition, the independent contractors get to set their own schedules, pick when they work, what days they work, what loads they take. They are in control, the independent contractor. They agree to do a load or not. When, where, and how. It's their decision. Not the trucking company. You see how that works? So they have the freedom, they have all the freedoms that they've always wanted. Until today. That's gone. Okay? Which is why they're showing their disapproval of and anger toward this new law with slowing down traffic. They may even advance to just blocking traffic. Who knows? Got to keep watching the news on this one. But now let's look at independent contractors on the low income scale or low side of the scale, like Uber drivers and Lyft and DoorDash, whatever. Those workers need this law because those companies are taking advantage of those workers by paying them pennies. Okay? Paying them pennies. And say, like in the case of Uber, they're not paying those drivers any money. Uber's making all the money, right? And as y'all know, the Uber drivers are driving their own car. So now Uber has within their pay and their policies that a part of the pay that they do pay the Uber drivers is compensation for them using their own car. But y'all, they ain't paying them Uber drivers no money. You ask any of them and they'll tell you they robbing us. They should be paying us more. You know, we're doing all the work. Our vehicle is taking all of the wear and tear, etc. We're absorbing all the expense. And in addition to that, Uber has some stuff that where the drivers have to pay some additional fees and costs in addition to those things. So I told people this years ago when Uber first came out and you know these business models came out. I was like, this is pretty much modern day sharecropping for those independent contractors that are on the low income scale in this industry, in this type of whatever industry it is, as far as an independent contractor, because the money that is being paid to the low scale independent contractors is so low, they ain't really getting ahead. Okay? They're not really getting ahead at all. And if they have additional fees that they are being charged by the company as well, y'all, they ain't making no money. Meanwhile, they putting all their time into it. They putting their wear and tear on their vehicle, et cetera, et cetera. It's like I said, it's the same thing or very similar to modern day sharecropper. Because if you remember, with sharecroppers, you had the property or landowner, right, that owned the farmland. And then you had the sharecropping family that agreed to farm the land for the property owner, the farm owner, okay? And the agreement was, the owner said, if you and your family farm my land, then y'all can live here, eat from the food, and you know, just, this is your life, okay? That's the benefit that you get from farming my land, okay? You ain't got to worry about, you know, going nowhere else to live or finding some other way to make an income and have a home and etc. Have mules and everything you need, right? Just farm my land for me, right? And what would happen, a lot of black families, because they didn't have any other options, they would agree to this, right? So they would farm the land, get it to harvest, did all the hard work. The harvest would come, they would sell all the harvest of the crops and everything, get the money from that. And then the property owner would say, oh, you guys did a great job. We made, let's say kind of more in today's terms, we made $80,000 from the harvest of my farm. You guys did a great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all ate y'all food, you know, for you and your family. You had your place to live and everything. It's worked out great. And so now the sharecropper is going, okay, he's got my hand out going, okay, give me my cut of the profit. So me and my family can go on and we can keep, maybe if my cut of the profit is good enough, maybe we keep doing this because we both making money, right? No, the property owner would then say, okay, I got your profit, I got your money, but we have to subtract or deduct the cost that you have incurred by living on my property, right? And the sharecropper was like, wait a minute, what cost? What are you talking about? I did all the work. But the property owner, the farm owner would say, okay, but you lived on my property in my house. So there's a house fee. You did the work, you grew the food, but that was the food that you ate, you and your family ate. Those were my chickens. That was my seed that produced the food that you and your family ate all year. So you got a food cost. You also used all my farm tools. There's a tool cost. You use my farm animals, my mules, my whatevers. There's a cost to that. They just kept adding a long list of costs, right? And so the sharecropper will go, okay, what's the cost of those? And so the farm owner, the property owner, will start listing the actual amounts of cost for each of these items, right? It was a lie, y'all. It was always a lie. It was always a setup from the beginning. Because when the farm owner or landowner got done, instead of there being profit left for the sharecropper and his family to put money in their pockets and be prosperous, when the property or farm owner got done with all of the costs and adding them up, instead of there being $80,000 profit or even say $40,000 profit or $20,000 profit left, there was no profit left. In fact, the sharecropper and his family actually owed the property or farm owner probably $10,000, $15,000 because they just made up these fees. So that as the property owner, the farm owner, they kept the whole $80,000 to themselves. And they told the sharecropper and his family, y'all also still owe me X amount of dollars for everything that y'all used, in an attempt to trap the sharecropper and his family in a debt situation where, okay, they can't leave until they pay off your debt. Even if they go, I ain't doing this no more. Well, okay, but you got to pay me my $10,000, $15,000. Do you got it? No, they ain't got it. You just stole all their money, right? So you said, well, how am I supposed to pay you? Just stole my money. Well, you go ahead and do another crop. Maybe we make more money on the next crop. That was the lie, y'all. So it was a perpetual lie, perpetual theft, and they had hundreds of thousands of black people trapped in the sharecropping, which was still slavery. Is what I'm describing to y'all. But that I altered the actual money to kind of give you a sense of what it might look like today. Okay? But that's what independent contractors on the low end of the income scale, people like drivers for Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash and others, that's kind of where they're setting. They're never going to get ahead. They're not really making any profit from what they're doing. They're just surviving. Whatever they're making is getting immediately used for their cost. So it's very, very difficult for them to get ahead or make a profit. Sharecropping. Okay? So again, this law actually, for independent contractors that are on the lower end of the income scale, it actually helps them. It gets them out of this sharecropping deal, this modern day sharecropping deal. It gets them out of that. And they now, the companies, DoorDash and Uber and all that, they have to hire all of these people, or as many as they choose, as full employees, therefore giving them health care, insurance, all the other federal employee protections that comes with being an employee of a company. Okay? As well as Uber is gonna, or a lot of these companies, they're gonna have to pay better as far as if they want their employees to still use their personal vehicles. If not, Uber got to go buy a whole bunch of new cars and say, here's our Uber cars, y'all drive these. But Uber ain't gonna do that, right? So it's a protection. It's a great thing for independent contractors on the lower end of the scale because it gets them out of this modern day sharecropping situation, right? But again, what are going to be the effects of this for those on the lower end of the independent contractor spectrum? All good effects, great protections, more money, all the legal protections as an employee. Okay. Some of them are going to lose their jobs because these companies are not going to most likely hire every Uber driver as an employee. They're going to hire some, but some of them are probably going to get let go. So these services, DoorDash, Uber and all, there's going to be some disruptions, and these companies and services are going to start to struggle until they figure out what adjustments they need to make to try to be profitable in California, as well as all the other states that this Prop 22 law starts to make its way into across the country. Okay? Now, going back in regards to the truckers, as I explained before, like approximately 90%, and you heard it in the report, approximately 90% of the truckers in California are independent contractors. So they're going to respond to this new law in one of those three ways that I described earlier. But many of them are just going to leave California. So California's trucker shortage is going to get way worse, which is going to have significant negative impact, more negative impact on the United States' our supply chain, our supplies, grocery stores and other products are just going to become more and more scarce because there's not enough trucks to transport the products throughout the country, out of California, as well as any other state that puts the same law into effect the way they've done with this broad brush. Again, in my opinion here at One Brothas Mind, they should have, whether it's a percentage or an income range or whatever, they should have set an income bar. If your income as a private contractor is below this bar, you're now an employee of your company, or have to be. Because we're trying to protect you and keep you from being a modern day sharecropper, okay? But everybody else that is an independent contractor that makes more than set X income, you guys are free to go ahead and continue to be independent contractors like truck drivers and potentially travel nurses. And I mean, y'all know of a lot of attorneys, what have you, because you guys are making enough money to actually, you're making plenty of profit and you can cover your own health care expenses and insurance and things of that nature. Okay? So, family, again, smash the likes, share this report on all your social media. This is going to have dramatic impact on the U.S.'s supply chain, which is why on most, if not all, of my reports here at One Brothas Mind, I keep telling you guys and many other people in the B1 community, we're telling y'all was supposed to start prepping and stocking up on things yesterday, long time ago, because for a lot of different reasons and in various ways, things to come are going to make our supply chain and resources more scarce and harder to come by and more expensive. Okay, family? So y'all let me know what y'all think on this report. How y'all think this is going to pan out? You know, what do y'all think the truckers, the independent drivers are going to do? How are they going to respond not only today, but going forward? What's going to be the fallout to this stuff? This is insane. Okay? What's going to be the ripple effects throughout the country? You know, are many other states going to put in this same law? So we're going to have to watch this one very closely. Yeah. Wow, this is crazy. So just wanted to give you guys this brief update real quick. Make sure you were informed of what's going on, so you didn't just get blindsided when you go to the grocery store and all of the shelves are empty. And you know, things you're ordering are not coming in. Wow. Yeah, y'all. So y'all let me know what you think. Let's chop it up in the comments. If you have some solutions or things that should be done or could be done or can be done. First, for the independent contractors, whatever industry they're in, truck driving, travel nurses, or attorneys, or whatever, right? Drop it in the comments. I mean, this law in California, in a sense, technically, also affects just people running pop-ups and pull-ups, side hustles, you know, selling, you know, pop-up barbecue joints on the side of the road, or pizza, or whatever it is, taco trucks, you know, because those people can hire, up till now in California, they can hire people to work for them, to help them with their pop-up, right? With their food truck or whatever it is, right? And they had the choice. You could hire them as an employee, or you could hire them as an independent contractor and just pay them straight money. I'll pay you this much per hour to help me, to work for me, and help me with my food truck or my pop-up. Now in California, you can't do that. They have to hire people as employees if they have a regular business. You know, man, this law affects so many different things, y'all. There's millions of people in the United States that are and work every day as independent contractors. That's how they operate. That's how they run their own personal business. They represent themselves and they've been doing fine. But in California, that's over. Okay? And 9 times out of 10, this Prop 22 law is going to spread throughout the country. So, again, let's chop it up in the comments on this one, family. Let me know what y'all think and make sure that you smash the likes, share this on all your social media, and be sure to subscribe, because here at One Brothas Mind, we're here to give you the information and facts you need. And this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.